Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about for loops in C, and before we start with the introduction to the for loop, I would like to discuss with you why we use loops in C. Loops in C are used for performing certain tasks for certain number of times, right? So if in a program you want certain computation to be repeated for certain number of times, you make use of a loop, right? So in C you have for loop, while loop and do while loop. So in the upcoming sections we will be discussing about these loops in detail, and this video is specifically designed for the for loop. So we will see how to implement for loop and how we can design a simple program written in C language by making use of a for loop, right? So in that program we will make use of for loop for printing numbers, let us say from 0 to 9, right? So this is what we are going to implement. So before I start off with the programming, let's just have a quick recap about the syntax of for loop and how we can use for loop in a program. So when you use for loop, so it is like this is how you write. So you write for loop, and in this for loop we write some sort of initialization. So initialization statement is what you will write, and then you have test expression as the second part, which will be evaluated, and the last one will be updating the variable, right? Updation expression. So you can call it as updation expression. Okay, so the statements which you are going to write inside this for loop will be executed provided that the test expression evaluates to true, right? So for example, if we are willing to print the numbers from 0 to 9, so we'll make use of for loop and we will write I is equal to 0, I less than 10, and then we are going to write I plus plus. So we are going to get into the loop, and here you see that there is a variable I which is starting from 0. The evaluation condition is like I is less than 10. So till the value of I is less than 10, whatever you are going to write within this for loop will be executed, and then after every iteration I value will become equal to I plus 1. So the value of the variable will be incremented by 1, right? So this loop is going to run from I is equal to 0 to I is equal to 9. The time I value becomes equal to 10, this condition will become false because 10 less than 10 is false, right? So in that case it will come out of the for loop. So just let us design our main function in C. So that's how we design. So we will be designing this with the variable I initialized, so int I, and within this main function we are just writing this for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Now if I want to print the value of I will write printf, and then I will write %t because it's integer, and then comma I. This is what I am going to write, right? And right at the top of any C program you have a header file, so hash include stdio.h is what we are going to write. Okay, so this is a program, guys, that we have written. So there is a header file stdio.h, then you have main function. Within that main function we have defined a integer variable I, then we have started a loop which is like I is starting from 0 and it will run till I value is less than 10, and then after every iteration I will be incremented. I is equal to I plus 1, so that is how we denoted I plus plus, and then within this for loops body we are printing the value of I on the console, right? So this is what we have. So now I will just quickly copy this code that we have designed here, and I will paste it in the dev C++ IDE. So I'll go to file, I'll click on new and then source file. Over here we have to print the code. So this is our code, so I will save it. You save it with some name. I am using test3 as name, and the file type should be .c file, and you save it. I'm saving it on desktop as of now. Okay, So this is how I will save my variable value. This is how I will be saving the code on the screen on desktop. So I'll compile this code by clicking on execute and then press on compile. Okay, so now the code is getting compiled. Now it's compiled. You can see over here 0 errors and 0 warnings. So this is error-free code that we have written over here. Now we have to run this. We'll go to execute and we will click on run button. So the time I click on run, you see that the numbers are printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and in case you want some spacing between the numbers, you can just put a tab over here by writing \t within this printf. Okay, this will give a tab in between the numbers. So I will just save this code again, and since you have made the changes over here, guys, just remember you have to compile the code again once you make any changes. Okay, so I'll just click on compile. The code is compiled, 0 error and 0 warning. Okay, now execute and run. So you can see now the numbers are getting printed on the screen 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is how we need to execute this program. And now I think we have completely understood the for loop. Now we'll just improvise this code. We'll just do some improvisation on this code. Once we print the numbers from 0 to 9, my next task is to print the numbers from 9 to 0 in the next line. Okay, so what I will do is, in this case I'll start another for loop, and in this case the value of I will start from 9, and the condition will be like till I is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, till I is 0, this value, this condition will be true, and you have the decrement variable I minus minus statement to decrement the variable I is I minus minus, I is equal to I minus 1. So in this case the loop is going to start from I equal to 9. It will evaluate this for loop. The for loop will be executed till I value is greater than or equal to 0, and after every iteration I value will be decremented by 1, and this is what we have denoted by I minus minus. Okay, so within this for loop we are just going to print this by pressing on this. I'll just copy this one, right, and then I will paste it over here. Okay, so now you can see that we have again the value of I printed with a tab. So I will save this code. We'll go to execute, compile, 0 error, 0 warning, the code is error free. We'll click on run. So you see on first line you are getting 0 to 9 getting printed over here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and in the second line we have 9, 8, 7. So the counting in the reverse order is what we are getting printed over here on the console. So that's how you can make use of for loop, and you can start off your variable at any value you want, right? So in the first case the I is starting from 0, it is incrementing by 1 after every iteration, and in the second case over here I value was 9 and it was getting decremented. Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope you have understood the for loop concept in C, and in the upcoming video we will be discussing more about loops. While loop, do while loop is what we are going to discuss next. I'll see you in the next video.